with all the Elohim through the 4 other senses that man no longer have: intuition, telepathy, psychometry, and clairvoyance. And also to reach inside the bone to get fresh blood cells from the marrow located in the cavities of the bone, where blood is produced to extract blood for breeding, because chromosomes, molecules that contain genes, can be taken from the blood. This is why in Genesis 2:23, Zachar says, "This is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh." Flesh, Bashar, Aramaic Hebrew, and Bashar, Ashuric, Syriac, Arabic, means skin. So he is actually saying, skin of my skin. That gland was purposely removed from you so that you would forget your connection with the Elohim Anunnaki and be cut off from all the Elohim Anunnaki except for one named Tammuz. Tammuz is the son of Ishtar and Dumuzi. He is called Adonai and El Shaddai. El Shaddid, meaning the Almighty. He was a Shad, meaning demon, who was converted into an agreeable Elohim Anunnaki, who mastered agreeable and disagreeable things. Tammuz was captured by the Elohim Anunnaki and scientist Nergal, one of the sons of Anu, Nergal, who was the master of the underworld. Tammuz was taken because the Elohim wanted to convert him from disagreeable to agreeable. However, his mother Ishtar, who was also his lover, broke through the 7 veils to get into the inner city called Agharta and Ishara in order to get her son back and keep him from being converted into an agreeable Elohim Anunnaki. Ishtar was captured by Arishkigal, the wife of Nergal, who was also a scientist, and imprisoned her. Ishtar eventually managed to escape back to Earth. However, she was unable to free Tammuz. According to ancient Babylonian writings, Ishtar exalted Tammuz to a god. In ancient Babylonian writings, later Ishtar killed herself and gave her soul to Tiamat, the sea dragon, symbolic of the moon. Ishtar was also known as Aphrodite in Greek, Venus in Rome, Sin or Sing in Hindu. The Elohim of Ishara converted Tammuz to an agreeable nature. He was assigned to oversee you and be your Elo, speaking, and be your Elo for 6,000 years. The elder scientist Nergal removed this gland in order to make you zombies, speaking, in order to make you zombies as a punishment for being disobedient. You are no longer a supreme being. You are a human being, a mere mortal. After the gland was removed, Zachar and Hawa were not sent. From that point in Mecca, also called Eridu, the main seat of power, Saudi Arabia, to Rafali, the ancient name for South Africa. They were blessed with another chance. And their 20 sons and daughters, 20 sons and 20 daughters were sent to work the mines. Genesis 5:4. In Monodapa, Rafali, also called Zimbabwe. The Enocytes, the descendants of Seth, were blessed to be chosen to return home after 6,000 years if they obeyed El Ilo, Allah, and Him alone. On that day called the Sabbath day, the Elohim Anunnaki desisted from their work of making and creating Zakar seed. So they kept it holy. Speaking, you were blessed not to work the mines on that same day. So you will also keep the Sabbath holy. And from that point on, mortals have been on a steady path of destruction to themselves and others. Everything on earth have become so chaotic to the point where corruption and confusion are bred in the minds of mortals with the help of the spell of sleep, Kingu, Leviathan. Just like in the days of Utnapishtim Noah, every imagination of the thoughts of man's heart was only evil continually, Genesis 6:5. The Elohim, your fathers, seeing the state you are in now, have compassion for you, and they want their children back to take them home, which is what you call paradise. Paradise is a physical place in Holy Quran 2:25, which has trees, grass, rivers, people, and drinks such as wine, milk, honey, water, and a beverage called tainin, which is not found on this planet. In Holy Quran 3:142, they use the word in Aramaic, Hebrew is Gnan, in Ashuric, Syriac, Arabic is Jannah, meaning paradise, which looks like a replica of the planet Rizqa. Paradise is going home to your planet, where other beings are waiting for you. This is similar to when a newborn enters into the world and there are human beings waiting to help the child enter into this world. It is just another place. Once you leave this body, you will return to us beyond the stars, which you call the rapture or being redeemed. There will be etheric beings who will help you to the other side. The people who are part of this rapture or picked up will go back to Malakut, the abode of the Elohim, the fourth density called heaven, also called Jannah in Ashuric, Syriac, Arabic, the garden of paradise, which is what the enclosed garden was made to look like, a replica of Rizqa. for Zakar and Hawa. Speaking, you will be taken unto Nibiru with your father by a mothership. Anu El Elo of the Elohim of this time. That is described in Revelation 21:3. And off to the realm of Malakut, where all tears are wiped away from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for all the former things are passed away. Revelation 21:4 and 5. And no. The Anunnaki are not coming for all of mankind, for all those who asked. As I explained before, the Anunnaki are only coming for 144,000 children, who each will vouch, who each will be able to vouch for 10 other people. And the ships will return 1,000 years or one day to the Elohim for the others left behind. Psalms 94, 2 Peter 3:8. This is after they live up there on the mothership for 1,000 years or one day, as it says in Revelation 20. Do you understand what is being conveyed here concerning the times one day and 1,000 years? Presently, we are on Nasut, the realm of mortals, which has a really slow rate of vibration as compared to Malakut, the realm of the Anunnaki, which has a super high speed rate of vibration. So for example, on November the 7th, on November the 7th, 2017, the 144,000 will be taken to the angelic realm. This is just an example. They will stay there for 1,000 years, having 1,000 years of new experiences. After that 1,000 years of new experiences and new acquaintances, they will return to Nasut, to planet Earth, and the date would be November the 8th, 2017. Do you understand? The children of the Elohim will come back to Earth after being groomed for 1,000 years to become the rulers of the planet Earth. And there will be a new heaven and a new earth as spoken of in Revelation 21:1. This is why it is called the hereafter. Hereafter. Holy Quran 92:13. If you are worthy, if you are worthy of this, you will get your Barathary Gland back. Instead of it being replaced in the hippocampus area of the brain, the Barathary Gland will be replaced in the submental artery, which is located in the lower part of the chin. Scroll number 50, page 47. The birth ceremony continues. When you get that power, we have to show you how to use it. But we have to control it. You have to prove your sincerity before it is returned to you. Otherwise, you may misuse it. with the intellect you have now, you're using it for destruction, creating bombs and guns. If a person could levitate, you would say, look at me, I can levitate. And it would be all about you. And you'll be showing people how to levitate. Look at the psychics and the palm readers who are using their powers to make money today. You can say no, you wouldn't, but you can't actually say that for sure until it happens. The Barathary Gland will be inserted into those persons worthy of returning home when the Elohim come for them. When this gland is reinserted, it will not be in the hippocampus part of the brain this time, but in the lower chin, referred to as the sub-mental area, meaning the sub or the lower, and mental, which reacts with the mind. Back to scroll 51, page 78. A fleet of Elohim will be passing through Earth's atmosphere in and around the year 2003 in 2,880 spacecrafts able to board 50 beings each, coming out of the mothership called the Crystal City to reclaim their children, which are the 144,000 who are spiritually and physically ready. Now, let us take a look at scroll number 84. Are there UFOs in your midst? On page 101. There is a question that is posed to the angel Melchizedek, which is, so, how do you know which grays are the good ones? The answer that he gave, the grays with 5 fingers are the good ones, and are the remainder of the grays that existed before the reptilians kidnapped and started breeding with them. This does not mean that you should walk up to a gray and ask them how many fingers they have, because you still don't know the good ones from the bad ones, and you don't know what their intentions may be. For 300 years, a conflict has been going on between the Greys, who are basically warlike and aggressive, and the higher faction of the infrastructure, who are the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are a supreme race of beings from Ilion. They are dark reddish brown in skin complexion with large slanted eyes, with both the pupil and the white of the eyeballs open and closes just like yours. Their eyes are larger than that of humans. The average Nubian are starting to be born looking like these Elohim Anunnaki. They also have kinky or woolly hair. These Anunnaki are the gods or the angels that your Torah, New Testament, and Quran refer to. And these are the same deities of the Sumerian doctrine. The Sumerians were the people that were given a culture, knowledge about science, mathematics, farming, and information about the crafts the Anunnaki travel in. They're right up there now, right up there. Nibiru and 7 warcrafts are right in our solar system. The Sumerians were the first to record the existence of the Anunnaki on the planet Earth on slates of stone in the Anunnaki's language, now called cuneiform. So both groups, the Anunnaki and the reptilians, are using and crossbreeding with humans. There is one race referred to as the elders, called Anunnaki, from the 8th planet Rizqa in the 19th galaxy Ilion, that have conducted experiments on Earth that have involved artificial insemination and interbreeding with animals, men, beings, humans. They created a genetic underspecies, human, to do mining and other works. Eventually, the serpent race, the devils, the dragons, called reptilians, stimulated the elves, hypno-slaves, into self-awareness, called religion. The prefix hypno means sleep, to become weak, and slave meaning person who is controlled or ruled by another. This act, called the human, to be turned out on its own willpower from 180 degrees to 360 degrees, meaning humans have 360 degrees of will, 180 degrees agreeable and 180 degrees disagreeable. Whereas the Elohim have only 180 degrees of positive agreeable or 180 degrees of negative disagreeable. That is divided between two individuals, male and female, counterpart of the Elohim, and is on the outside. They live and overcome the disagreeable from the outside. When one male positive agreeable Elohim is born, one male female disagreeable is born, and vice versa. They are always born this way. They are counterparts of each other, or what you call twins. So unlike humans, who are positive and negative, male and female are forth within the person, the Elohim go through this battle on the outside with their counterpart. The first offspring or offshoot from the Elohim, meaning male and female, were Cain and the negative disagreeable, and Labuda, his positive agreeable twin sister. Then vice versa, Abel, the positive agreeable one, and his twin sister Alimia, the negative disagreeable. That's why each angelic being is 180 degrees of positive or negative. The good was supposed to conquer. The male and female inside of you, the male and female inside of you sometimes get crossed, and that's when you have homosexuals and lesbians. That is when your 180 degrees of agreeable must conquer. Only then will you go on to become a child of light. Religious people, such as Christians, start from the outside in instead of from the inside out. They don the cross start singing in the choir and participate in communion. But all the while, they are just as evil as any other man, including the minister and various members of the congregation. In Islam and its various sects, the Nation of Islam, the 5 percenters, etc., dress in Islamic attire and the culture and still do devilishment. This also applies to the Hebrew Israelites, who do the same thing by cleaning from the outside instead of the other way around. The serpent race was forced by the elves, headed by a Yahweh, to go deep underground, later called Hell or Abaddon, Job 26:6, as well as off the planet Earth, Tiamat. The conflict continues to this day. The war between Ort, good, and North, evil. A large portion of present-day humanity descended from mixed ancestry. The elves, agreeable, being the sheep race, and the reptilians, disagreeable, being the dog race, have both continued to crossbreed with humans. They need human and conspire to keep human ignorant and under control. Humans must recognize the control web and go beyond it. There is a species of Riskians that did the genetic development of humans. The term homo is short for ho and who, and mo equal man, or simply human. He who is, who, he, man, mammal. The word man itself means tribal deity, progenitor of mankind, one who thinks, mind, and emory. And also control the initial interbreeding with primitive humans 2,250,000 years ago as Adamites or Atumites. The name Adam, called Lulu Amilu, or primitive workers, means simply earthling or of the ground, meaning the dark soil. Thus, the sudden emergence from Cro-Magnon human to Homo erectus to Homo sapien. These beings are responsible for the progression of man. By them breathing Homo erectus, man's rate of evolution increased, a process which took 600 years. 100 years for the preparation and gathering of species for breeding, 400 years for the process, and 100 years following that for educating and civilizing the newly fashioned being. There are 4 kinds of species that the extraterrestrials mixed with. These are not the only kind, but one of the many kinds of species they bred with. The baboon, which is a combination of the jackal or hyena and orangutan. They live in caves, which is the link to the equation of the so-called apemen, cavemen, and subhuman, and Canaanite or Caucasian with 6 ether here, like all other animals on planet Earth, today called Amorites, gorillas, apes, no, chimpanzees live in caves. They are fierce, aggressive fighters. Orangutans, number 2, are a large, rare ape. They have their hair texture is 6 ether, and their skin color is pink. Chimpanzees. This ape has the intellect of a 4-year-old child and can be brought up to the level of a 7-year-old. They have 6 ether or straight here. The Anunnaki were trying to build a worker who was more aggressive and more violent to help mine the gold mines. Homo erectus. Homo erectus. So they mixed their divine gene with the Homo erectus, who were mixed with the Shaggies from Sirius in the Orion star constellation, and from there breed an overseer and worker called Homo sapien, who is the Nubian race with 9 ether here, unlike any other animal on planet Earth. Their basic purpose the law of one, Anu, who is also known as An or En, meaning heavenly one, later called Antu or and his mate Antum. They are also known as Allah and Allat. This planet was also known as Ki or Geo, source of geography, simply called Mother Nature or Mother Earth. And known as supernatural beings, superior beings, and the supreme beings. So it is right to live in service of others. That is to the Anunnaki, also called Elohim or the High Ones. They feel that all that is will benefit if man can develop as a true social memory complex, such as aligned mass consciousness.